Hello everyone and welcome back to Ruby Lessons on Code Academy. So in the last lesson we looked at inheritance. If you missed the video, I would highly recommend you watch it because inheritance is quite useful as it makes it so that you don't have to constantly keep repeating your code and lets your code be dry. Look up other videos if you want to know what dry means in programming. But other than that, let's just get straight into today's lesson, which is just a recap of what we have learned in the last 3 lessons about classes, which is when we started looking at classes. So, create a class called message, class message, and before I forget it, and give it an initialize method. If I can spell it, which obviously I can't really. Define initialize, of course. The initialize method should take 2 parameters, from and to, and set them equal to that, from equals from, at 2 equals 2. If you don't know what the at symbol means, then I would recommend that you look up my video on scope for classes, which goes into more detail. And okay, don't worry about creating an instance of your class just yet. So we have created our basics of our class, and that is all that it wants us to do for now. Getting class here. Perfect, now let's class things up a bit with the class variable. So give your message class a at messages sent class variable and set it equal to 0. Okay. This is again in the scope lesson. Messages underscore sent equals 0. Okay, in the body of your initialize method, increment this value by 1 so that each time a new message object is created, messages sent will go up by 1. Which means I probably want this before initialize? Or no, it shouldn't really matter. Because if you do it before initialize, then the class wouldn't be initialized. So we just copy this. Of course, we delete that space before it starts bugging me. And plus equals. Should be fine. Don't create any instances just yet. And that is all fine for now. Moving on, forge an object in the fires of Mount Ruby. Ooh, that sounds quite interesting. Perfect, let's go ahead and create an instance of our message class. Okay, so now we get to create something. After your class, create a variable called myMessage. Message.new, just like you would create something else. And we need to pass it 2 arguments, as it has 2 parameters. Create an instance of your message class using message.new with whatever from and 2 arguments you want. Store the result in myMessage. Who to do? PewDiePie, even though I don't even watch him or care about him. But everybody knows PewDiePie, so let's just stick with that. If Ruby doesn't decide to, or Code Academy doesn't decide to crash. Okay, there we go. I just had to reload it. No idea what happened. It happens. Not gonna say that and it's Code Academy's fault. It might have been my side, internet and stuff, but oh well. Moving on. Inheriting a fortune. Perfect. Now let's get in a little practice with inheritance, what we did in our last lesson. Create a second class email, which inherits from message. Give it its own initialize. Fine, and that takes just 1 parameter. Okay, what is it? Subject, and has 1 instance variable subject. Good. So we have replaced this initialize to be equal to this initialize instead. So we have changed what the initialize does by having the same name for our new object class. Moving on. Up, and away. You're a champion. Our last topic of the morning, afternoon, evening of yesterday, tomorrow Ruby super keyword. We've decided we like messages initialize method after all, and we don't want to replace it. So to finish this lesson, go ahead and remove the subject parameter and add subject instance variable from email. Okay, if you say so. Pass email's initialize method to the same two parameters passed to messages. What? Pass email's initialize method? Oh, okay. So we want from and to. Add the super keyword as the only line of code in your body's email's initialize method. So super, want from and to. Good. So what this does is get super, goes to the initialize method of the super class or the parent class, and because we were passing these arguments to this, it takes them, gives them to initialize over here, from is from, to is to, and passes them to here. And everything works out just as it would if it was a message, and not an email in this case. So that's going to be the review. If you want more detail, just check out the last 3 videos I made about classes on Ruby for Codecademy. Other than that, if you have any questions, do feel free to ask in the comments down below. They don't have to be connected to this lesson specifically. I will answer them as soon as possible. If you dislike this video, do feel free to give me a dislike and tell me how I can improve for next time. But if you did like it, I would highly appreciate a like and share and subscribe, because it encourages me to make more videos such as this. Other than that, I've said that so many times now. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.